Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
How you doing, people? How are you? Welcome. 30 minutes with Stel. Saturday afternoon if you're in the UK. If you're in the USA, it's early afternoon. If you're on the other side of the world, east, it's probably early hours of the morning. Very dramatic title, this one, isn't it? Important message. It's almost like urgent, breaking news. Yeah, there's a few things that I just really felt I need to address with everyone, and things that need to be said and be said in the right way. Let me do a quick big up to everyone in the chat. Let's see who's here. It's always good to say hello to everyone that makes the effort to watch. LA007, how you doing? Ant, Rob, big up. Chris, the disabled team, how are you? Bertie Hotspur, awesome. Mark Swifty. Svavaran BG. I never get your name right. Wolves F1 in the house. How you doing? Indian Guna. How are you? Stuart's in the house. JJ. 3SS Sports Picks. Big up to you. Graham's in the building. Badder. Dexter. We've got Frankfurt Guna. Got a lot of Gunas watching this channel nowadays, I tell you. Big up Stephen. Chris Stone, how are you? Hope you're well. Apocalypse Now. Dragon. These nuts. Brian Maguire. Big up Brian Maguire. Travelling all the way down from Scotland to join a protest, did Brian last season. Martin, how you doing? Stephen, thanks for joining us. Levy. So Ryan, how you doing? Bookmark, how are you doing? Dan MC Spurs, I hope you're well. Enzo, big up to you. Just checking I haven't missed anyone here. Igor, hello. Darth Viper. Chris Callen owns you. You will never be as successful as him. I'm far more successful than Chris Callen. Maybe I don't have as much popularity on YouTube, but in terms of success, the guy's not in my league. Sorry, Darth Viper. Not something I really wanted to share, but you don't know me, my man. And I don't know you either, to be fair. Big up, Matt. How you doing? Lisa, how are you? Joe 27. Tequila. Burn it down. We're going to talk. We're going to talk. That's for sure. Jody, how are you? Hope you're well. East London Gooner, another Gooner. Tell you, we've got more Gooners that watch this channel than Spurs fans. What else we got here? DMB, big up. Spurs King. Breaking news. Is there breaking news? If there is, let me know. We need Stel to run the club. Do you know what? Someone's got to take over, right? Anyway, that was a loud clap. Let's get down to it. Okay, two more just jumped in there. Big up, Daniela. Big up, Ant. I hope you're both well. So, the last 4 or 5 days, it has really, really become just an absolute cesspit on social media. And the Levy out, Levy ins are tearing each other apart. Now, there's a lot of screenshots I could have put up to show you what's going on if you don't know already. But it's becoming so diabolical that you've got today, for example, I saw fans calling other fans Nazis and fascists. This is unacceptable, right? Some of you might look at this and say, do you know what, Stelios? Yeah, but we've seen you say things, and listen to me. I'm talking about the here and now, all right? We can't have this level of toxicity because fans are fed up. Fans have had enough of what is going on at this club. And I'm talking about the way it's run. I'm not going to repeat myself because I repeat myself 1,000 times. Enoch out, Levy out. But there are a lot of fans that are fuming that no centre-backs have come in. There are fans that are turning against Harry Kane, and fans are having arguments, heated, personal attacks, because get him out of our club if he doesn't want to be here. Then other fans, like myself, are saying, well, hold on a minute. Why are we losing our best player? Why have we got to the stage where the best player at Tottenham doesn't want to stay here? How have we done that again? Carrick, Ericsson, Modric, Berbatov, Kyle Walker, Christian Eriksen. Now it's Kane. Why don't they want to stay here? Why aren't we convincing them? Anyway, there's so much going on right now. And what's happened the last couple of days is I'm being used as the excuse that people want to use as to why they tolerate mediocrity. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. I've got no issue if you're Enoch in. If you love Enoch and you love Levy, listen, good luck to you. You've got the club that you want. You shouldn't moan, complain, or have a go at anyone because you're happy, right? If you're Enoch out and Levy out like me, and you protest, you boycott games, you don't go to the club shop and spend money, then we're doing what we can. But if you're that group in the middle that understands that Levy's made mistakes, or you understand that things should be better, but you want to moan about it 24/7, people like Chris Cowlin, exactly people like that, but then you do nothing about it, and you then want to block fans who have an opposing view, or you want to call fans, not Chris Cowlin now, other fans, you want to call fans Nazis and fascists. You want to call fans all sorts of names because they stand up for what they believe in and they believe that they want a change of ownership. You are the problem. And I'll be consistent. If you are that middle ground that is fed up of what's going on and you do nothing about it, but then you want to have a go at those that want change and are trying to do something to bring about change, you are the problem. It's a fact. Imagine your partner cheats on you and your partner comes home and says, I've slept with somebody else. I cheated on you. You've got a choice. You either sit down, listen, maybe accept an apology and hope it doesn't happen again. You leave the house, or you kick them out, change the locks, or you get a solicitor or a lawyer involved. But if all you do is to moan and complain to your friends, and all you do is to tell your friends, oh, my partner cheated on me, and then a month later your partner cheats on you again, and you still do nothing, but then you go back to your friends, they've done it again. They've cheated on me again. That's twice now. And your friends say to you, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to accept it? Are you going to take action? Or are you just going to moan at me? And then after 2 years and your partner's cheated on you 10 times, all you're doing is moaning at your friends. Who is the problem? Your friends that are telling you do something about it, your partner who's going to continue cheating on you because you're accepting it, or is it you? It's you. You are the problem if you're in that situation. I'm going to look at our Spurs fan base. Those that are ENIC out, leave you out. You're happy being cheated on, but you've accepted it. I can't call you out. If you're like me and you're get out my house, I want you out. You're trying to kick them out. I can't complain at you because you're trying to do something. But if you sit there and accept being cheated on every single month, and all you do is moan at your friends and then have a go at people who have done something about it, how can you not be the problem? Tell me how you cannot be the problem. But people are using me as their excuse now. And this is where I said to myself, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to put my opinion out there, which most of you already know. And most importantly, I'm going to set the record straight, because this is now becoming a cesspit. And the more and more days go by that we don't buy new players, especially defenders, and the more days that go by where this Harry Kane saga drags on, this is only going to become more toxic. And our fan base is going to tear itself apart. And you're not going to use me as your reason. I'll tell you that now. That's not happening. So I just want to show you a few things, right? I just want to show you a few things. Let me start off with this one, right? This is typical of what I see. Have a look at the world of Hotspur. 10 to 20 tweets every day about the same thing. It's putting fans off. So this person's having a go at those that are leave out, ENIC out. It's so boring and it's repetitive. Most fans are frustrated, but they won't take action because the messaging is so bad. This whole Levy in thing is a nonsense. Levy out, Levy in. Now, how can you blame other people for your actions? So I replied saying, look at the culture at Tottenham. Levy and ENIC have created it. It's relentless on social media with anger and frustration towards the ownership. It will never stop. The owners have crippled the fans' love for Spurs. So where this fan is blaming other fans who have got an opinion demanding change, I'm saying that this toxicity is a result of the decisions made by the owners. It's the owners that have created this environment. We don't create the environment at Tottenham. We react to what we see and how we feel, that the direction of the club and what happens on the field of play guides us. So I put at the bottom of my response to this person, blaming others for the reason you personally don't take action is a nonsense. How can you blame other people for why you don't do something. I'm not going to protest because the message is confusing. What? That's like saying, I don't want this government in charge of the United Kingdom. But I'm not going to vote for a different government because the different government, their message confuses me. But you don't want them. You don't want the people in power, but you won't vote for an alternative because the message has confused you. Is this really where we're at? Is this the nonsense, the lies, the excuses that we're going to now use as a fan base to justify why we won't take action? I mean, you've got no intention of taking action. That's what you need to say. Be honest. I've got no intention of taking action, but I don't know how to say it, so I'm just going to make up lies. It's a bit like, this one's a good one. This was on a YouTube channel yesterday, Sava's channel. Brian Daigle was a guest. And this person, I don't know who this is. I don't know who these people are. If you want the numbers, so he's referring to the protests. If you want the numbers to go up, that's what he was responding to. I don't have a video clip of the actual conversation Sav and Brian had, but if you want the numbers of the protests to go up, tell Stel to stop insulting the fans. Stop preaching stuff he doesn't follow himself. Would you work for a boss who kept calling you an idiot? So you're blaming me, right? You're blaming me for why people don't go to a protest. I'm the reason that you won't go and take action. Me. That's like saying, I'll use the government analogy again. I don't want the Tories in power. This isn't political. Whoever you vote for, you vote for. I don't care. I don't want the Tories in power, but I'm not going to vote for the alternative option because someone that I don't like votes for them as well. So I'm not going to do what I really want to do, and I'm not going to do the things that I want to do in my life because someone else wants to do the same thing. I'm not going to go and protest and try and force change because Stelios goes there and I can't support the same thing that Stelios supports, even though I want the same thing as him. Do you know how rent-free that makes me live in your head? Do you know how much power you make it sound that I've got, that I control your life? You are making decisions and you are leading a life based on what I do. So before you do anything, you're looking at me so you know what to do. In some parts of the world, they call that a Don. In some parts of the world, they call that an OG. Are you really putting me on that level? Because that's what you're doing. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing that fans are prepared to publicly go and say, I say public, but that's not their real name. That's not their real image. But I see this a lot. I'm just picking examples I saw. This is just the past day. Tell Stel to stop preaching stuff he doesn't follow. I go to all the protests. I'm on every show, leave you out, Enoch out. Whenever I get a chance, I talk about it. I'm talking about it now. I boycotted the last 10 games. What do you mean? Tell Stel to preach what he says. I do. Sorry, to follow what I preach. I do. Stop calling fans idiots. But you are an idiot. You are. If you really believe in something, like I want chocolate, I really want to eat chocolate. I love chocolate, but I'm not going to eat chocolate because Stelios wants chocolate, and if he wants it, then I can't have what I want. You're an idiot. Idiot. I don't know other way to put it. I can't be polite about that. It's ridiculous. I own you. No. How have we got to that stage? Would you work for a boss who kept calling you an idiot? I'm not your boss. Do you get it? You're calling me. I'm not your boss. You don't work for me. I don't own you. It is idiotic to say these things. But then you create this narrative. Oh, but Stelios is doing something about it, so I can't. Wow. Wow, man. Like, ugh. Look, I'm putting humor on it because it's sad. Okay. And the message I want to put out is this: whatever you think of me, whatever you decide your perception of me is going to be, however you want to depict me, I'm not going anywhere. Unless I drop dead, I'm not going anywhere. And as long as I'm here, I'm Levy out, I'm ENIC out. I'm going to go to protests. I'm going to boycott matches where I can. I'm going to stop buying stuff from the club shop. And I am going to call out fans that do things like this. And I am going to call out fans. And there's thousands of them on social media who are moaning, complaining, whining, crying, throwing their toys out the pram. I've had enough. Look at this defensive situation. They don't care. But you don't do anything about it. Your partner's cheating on you and you want to stay in the same house as your partner. You don't like the government, but you won't change your vote because someone else you don't like votes for them. You badly want chocolate, but you can't have chocolate because you've told yourself that the person that bothers you eats chocolate, so you can't eat chocolate. It's ridiculous, people. It's not normal. What's happened is Daniel Levy built a stadium and took a wrecking ball to the club. He built a stadium and he wrecked a club. And it hurts so many fans that they don't know what to do. So they're looking to just fire out at everyone else. The solution is simple. Either you take action or you accept it and just get on with it and leave everyone else alone. But everyone's piling in. Everyone's getting involved. Everyone's got to say something. And I blame Stelios and I blame him and I blame them. I blame fans who moan and complain but take no action. They take no action because nothing will change. And you're not going to use me as the blame game. Sorry, it's idiotic. And I'll call anyone an idiot. I'll call anyone stupid who does that because I'm bang on the money with it. And if you don't like it, don't listen. Switch off. Block me. Doesn't change my life one bit. Last point. Harry Kane. Important message to all fans. And this is why you need to decide what you want from Tottenham Hotspur. Okay. I had this conversation with Danny the Bun, who I'm, good mates with. And Danny said that no one's going to pay £100 million. I've already said no one's going to pay the money. And I agreed with Danny. And I said, no, sorry, that was Danny's response below. I've edited this incorrectly. Danny said something about he doesn't know if Kane will leave because no one will pay the money. And I said, I disagree, Danny. And I've said this now for quite a while. Look at the date on this tweet. This is almost 10 days ago. 10 days ago, I said, there's no way Daniel Levy's going to allow £100 million to walk out the front door for zero. There's no way he lets £100 million be wiped off the balance sheet. If anyone knows anything about Tottenham, ENIC and Levy, there's one thing you know. And if you don't know, I'm sorry, you're forever going to be screwed over and upset with this club. They're about the money. They only care about the money. Football is a byproduct. Fans are a customer that they're not too bothered about. They'll replace us with some other activity and event over time. They will compensate it by having so many activities and events that football is just one arm of the entertainment business. They're not going to let £100 million just walk out the door. These people are about money. And I repeated myself. Joe Lewis just shat his pants that £100 million asset is going to go on a free. Means he might have to sell his yacht. So I made a joke saying Joe Lewis is not going to let £100 million go. There was another fan here. And I said the same thing. Look at the... Okay, there's no date on this one. I said the same thing. £100 million today becomes zero in 5 months' time. Bayern will not pay £100 million. The same logic applied to the Ray deal. We wouldn't pay 40 million for a player that's going to walk on a free. So I kept banging the drum on this. So many times have I been saying, there's no way Harry Kane will stay at Tottenham if he doesn't sign a new contract. We're not going to allow money to walk out the front door. We are driven by money. We are money-making, decision-owned Tottenham Hotspur. That is how we are run. Football is an illusion at this club. It's fantasy. It's just something we kind of dabble in just to keep fans sweet until the next toxic drama. Look at the video clip. I said this in a video. I made this video last week. So today, again, ITK in the know, who knows? This was a story that was broken, and a few of the socials ran with it. Daniel Levy has been told by Joe Lewis he must sell Harry Kane if no new contract is agreed. And this is kind of what I was saying, and I've been saying it for quite a while now. They're not going to let £100 million walk out the front door, and they're not going to allow £100 million to just disappear off the balance sheet. This is a business. Daniel Levy runs it like a business. Joe Lewis looks at it like an investment. These guys aren't in it for football. They aren't interested if we win trophies or not, as long as the financials are healthy, the business is a viable business, and that they're going to be able to sell it for a far greater value than what they purchased it for. This is what they're in it for. Now, I made that video last week. I've been saying it for so many weeks now. Kane's going to go because money talks at the end of the day, and these people are about the money. So why am I talking about this? And why am I saying, guys, that I've been saying it for ages? And, it's because so many fans are now upset and angry and fuming that Kane is probably going to leave. But why? That means you don't understand ENIC and Levy. That means you've ignored what these owners are really about. You're angry with yourself. You're angry that you were so naive to believe he wants to break the record. He's going to stay at Tottenham. He's one of our own. That's not what Harry Kane does. Really? Then you know nothing about ENIC and nothing about Daniel Levy. And that's what you're angry about. You're angry about what you tricked yourself to believe. You're angry that you thought these owners gave a damn about football and about Harry Kane staying at the club. They couldn't care less. 23 years of history proves it. Yet we still got people defending Levy, defending ENIC, calling ENIC out fans, Nazis and fascists, and Stelios is the reason we don't go to protest. Look, Levy, ENIC will never care about on-field matters. They'll never show the ambition and the long-term planning for on-field success. They talk a great game, but their actions are short of what is promised. This is why, yet again, one of our best players wants to leave. I know fans will say, whatever happens, the club will go on, and the badge is more important than the name on the back of the shirt and all that. But what good is that badge when we accept such low standards and we refuse to stand up against the owners who are about to lose the best player we've had in the last 10 years? Harry Kane is standing up against ENIC and Levy. Let's have it right. Harry Kane is making a stand. He's saying, bye-bye ENIC, bye-bye Levy. But Spurs fans, we can't leave. You can't just pick up and go and support another club. So what stand are we going to make? If your answer is nothing, then expect the same. More of the same. That means you are part of the blame. You need to be held accountable within yourself for choosing to not stand up. The truth hurts. People don't want to hear that. Spurs fans always find a way to justify the failures on the pitch. The decisions that ENIC and Levy make to affect what happens on the pitch. They'll always redirect the blame and their frustrations towards one of the managers, one of the players, to me. Guys, we're not just losing a top player here. We're losing Harry Kane, one of the world's best. He's elite. He's a loyal player. He's been with us for 7, 8, 9 years, God knows how long. He's done his job consistently, scoring goals, creating goals. He's the club's top scorer. He's part of the Son and Kane greatest ever goal-scoring Premier League partnership, history-making. But like many, many others, Modric, Berbatov, Bale, Walker, Eriksen, many other top players, he's won nothing at Spurs. Mourinho, Conte, Poch, Redknapp won nothing at Spurs. There's a reason why. Quality players, top managers, none of them leave our club and win nothing. But rather than accepting who's to blame, and look at the insane amount of time these owners have had to get it right. 23 years. 23 years. Fans will still blame managers and still blame players. And what am I seeing? I'm seeing fans turning on Harry Kane. Take a long, hard look at yourself before you take a long, hard look at Harry Kane and point the finger at him. There he is again. Stel is calling out the fans. He's blaming the fans. Yes, I am. Because this isn't new. This happens all the time under this ownership. This isn't a one-off event. This is now normality. And I can't handle fans accepting this normality and then blaming it on players, blaming it on managers, and then saying, I'm not going to do anything about it because Stelios likes chocolate. What in the actual fuck are you talking about? It's beyond madness. Our fan base is just, it's lost its mind. I don't blame fans for what's happened, by the way. I don't blame fans for what has happened to Tottenham. Just like I don't blame managers or players. I blame the fans for accepting it and for lowering their standards for what's going on the field of play and the lack of ambition from these owners. I blame fans for choosing to protect the owners. Let me make that clear. I don't blame fans for what's happened to Tottenham. It's not the fans' fault. I blame fans for protecting the people that have created the mess. Why are you allowing this to happen? Why do you allow Enoch and Levy to run the club in such an unambitious way and to tolerate it? Why should Enoch and Levy do anything different? Why should they change the way they are when they know you're going to accept it? They know you're going to tolerate it. These owners know no matter what they do, you will say, all right, I'm going to go on Twitter and moan, but I'll be okay with it. You're giving them no reason to change. These money-hungry, money-making, zero football interest mofos that run this club. And yet, it's my fault. It's Conte's fault. It's Pochettino's fault. It's Kane's fault. It's Sissoko's fault. It's Lloris's fault. It's always someone else. But we never look at ourselves and say, do you know what? Without us, this club is nothing. It's got nothing without us. What are we doing about it? We're blaming everyone else. Forget 23 years of failure, of on the field I'm talking about, not off the field. Forget the last 23 years. Let's look at right here, right now, people. Okay? Right here, today, this moment. You tell me, any fan that watches this video, you tell me how Tottenham right now have helped Ange Postecoglou with 2 weeks to go before the season starts. You tell me how this ownership has helped him. There's no football director. There's no new defenders. The Harry Kane situation is a mess. We've got a squad that's too big. Only one player's been sold, Harry Winks. Eric Dyer and Ben Davies are staying. A poorly planned pre-season. Forget the fact the games got cancelled because of the weather. The quality of opposition so far has been non-existent. We've got no European football and we put the ticket prices up. Is this how you support and help a manager start their time at Tottenham Hotspur? Is this how ambition is reflected in how we support the man we've put in charge of the football team? When you just listen to what I've just said, that list, no director of football, no new defenders, a bloated squad, only Winks have been sold, Dyer and Davies are staying, no European football, a poor pre-season. You tell me what we've done this summer to convince one of the best players in world football, Harry Kane, that's the reason you should stay, Harry. This is the reason. I've got a manager that plays really attractive football, but everything else is a joke. Harry, please stay. We've done nothing to convince him to stay. And yet fans are saying, Harry needs to make a decision. Harry needs to come out and tell us what's going on. Harry this, Harry that. I just cannot understand our sections of our fan base right now, guys. I can't understand where our fan base's mind is at anymore. If you take your emotion out of it, you'll quickly realize we have let Harry Kane down. We've never built a squad around him that he deserves, a player of his quality. Enoch and Levy have let down the club by doing so. But you'll always find an excuse, and I'll counter your excuse. But when I say to people, debate me on it, I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything from anyone when I raise all these points and I say, let's debate it. They can't do it. Direct your blame and frustration at Harry Kane all you want. But you're only doing it because you've chosen not to take action against the ownership and the chairman. So you redirect your pain elsewhere. And this is the reality of where we're at, people. Listen, truth hurts. There's 308 people listening. Maybe I've hit a chord with some of you. Maybe some of you are thinking, do you know what? Yeah, man, preach. This can't carry on anymore. You've got to take action if you want change. If you don't want change and you're happy, this isn't for you. Crack on as normal. This isn't directed towards you. But all the moaners, the complainers, the excuse makers, the whingers, the personal attack merchants, all of it. What planet are you on? Take a look at yourself, people. I'm not going to take action because Stelios goes there. Fuck you, man. Straight up. I own you then. I own you. Just call me daddy from now on. That's going to get clipped, isn't it? Guys, look, I've said what I wanted to say. I'm sick of it. I'm honestly, maybe I'm getting a little bit OTT with it. Cool. I'm a passionate guy. I get like that. I can admit it. But it's crazy. And it's gone too far. And it's going to get worse. And I have to speak up on it. I can't sit there listening to this. And I hear this all the time. You know, donuts like this. It's too much. I'll just take a couple of questions for a little bit. 30 minutes with Stel looks like it's going to be longer. But I don't know how far back to go with the questions. Let's just read a few comments. Jason, big up, my man. Enoch will never sell. You can protest 7 days a week. Just get used to being shit and hope they do sell. Well, you say you can protest 7 days a week, but this is the issue, Jason. People don't protest. If thousands turned up, then we'll see what's what. But that's exactly what doesn't happen. Pick up, Sophie. How you doing? Stel, this is the UK. We put up with most shit. Just look at how we handled the pension age increase to say. I know, but at least people will go to the voting booth, Sophie, and they'll vote for a different government if that's how they feel, right? What are our fans doing? So you're right, but I disagree because we've got a mechanism to force change at Tottenham. We're choosing not to use it. Just like every voter's got a mechanism to go and vote at the next election to force change, right? Hey, Stel, sorry you haven't been catching your videos, been traveling around the USA. Mate, your videos look fantastic, man. You're loving life as a Newcastle fan. Enjoy it. When the good times are there, enjoy it, Steve. I'm currently in Times Square right now. I hope you're well, brother. I'm good, my man. Jack, I will be lobbying purple and gold pyros on the pitch on the 23rd minute of the United game. We've got to do something. Vitruvius, you're right. The board has let down many managers and the better players. The issue is the fans blame the players and the managers instead of the board. Exactly my point. The moaners do. The complainers do. Kane is playing it perfectly. Kane has played a blinder Jazz Fusion. He's absolutely nailed this. I think what happened when he kind of went on a mini strike and didn't get the move to Man City, then played badly under Nuno. I think that approach, he's learned a lot from it. And he's probably waiting for this day to come, knowing now he holds all the cards. Big up Finn, Stel spitting facts again. Tell me where I'm wrong, right? Tell me where I'm wrong, and I'll rebuttal it. Quincy, we place Jan and Toby with Sanchez, Roden, Romero, and Longley. Don't get me started. How you doing, Jude? Thank you, Stel. Enoch Hafel Kane, been saying it for years. How can you have a top striker and not build a team? Kane and Son in their prime. In their prime, Jude. When are we ever going to get an elite partnership like that again that breaks all the records? Stunning. Stunning failure. Enzo, you're spot on, mate. Every word of respect. Big up to you. Lee, Stel, who's more negative? You or... At what? Is my question to you. Madzi, the end of Levy is near. If fans unite, yes. If fans don't, then I don't know. Trinidad and Deep, big up. Tottenham way, I would like to see all the Spurs players just walk out on the game. To hell with their ownership. I'd love that, but it's not going to happen because they're under contract and they're not going to breach their contract, right? Jack says, Chris Cowling sits there with the smallest face while announcing the news that Dyer is getting a new deal. He is part of the problem. I know people want to stay away from it and they don't want to talk about it, but he is part of the problem. I don't care. It is what it is. It's true. As a person, as a human being, I've never met him. He's probably a lovely guy, probably a good father, probably a good friend to people. But as a Spurs fan who has got some level of clout to help influence change, he's non-existent. The club has been bought. Sorry, Philly says, the club has even bought players that don't fit the manager's system. This is just forcing random pieces on yet another manager. It's been like that for 23 years, right? C to the fourth, big up. So I saw people rate this attack top 4 out of 5 without Kane. It's delusional, man. It's delusional. How can you sell one of the best strikers in world football and say that the attack is going to be 4 out of 5? It beggars belief, man. People think goals will magically appear now. I think Maddison will add some goals. I'm sure Solomon will pop up with 1 or 2. Son? Yeah, Son will probably do okay. Kulu maybe, but wouldn't it be great if we had Harry Kane's goals and we added other players to complement and contribute more goals on top? Wouldn't that be a good thing? As opposed to, let's take away the top goal scorer and plug that hole with other players, but that just does what? It keeps us where we were before. We haven't improved then. You're just filling gaps, not building on what you've got. The disabled team, Big Ange is going to be let down again. And she became a butterfly. I love your passion, Stel, and for keeping it real. Listen, I'm always real. I say it as it is. And I do try and back it up with some facts and logic, right? I don't just rant for the sake of it. Checkmate. My message is be happy. We're only here one time. Yeah, you can be happy outside of Tottenham and you can then try to be happy at Tottenham, which I'm not. I'm not happy as a Spurs fan. I'll say it as it is. Outside of Tottenham, life is good. Things are going well for me. I'm in a great place, which is why I managed to keep my composure and my calmness when I do this to some degree, right? But there's outside of Tottenham and then there's Tottenham. At Tottenham, I hate it. I think it stinks. I think it's rotten to the core from top to bottom now. So I don't think I will be happy until I see the true changes that are required at this club. Paul says Brighton will win something for us. They've got better ownership, in my opinion. I think they've got much better ownership. Edward, how you doing, my man? Hope you're well. Jason Lewis, you keep saying there are fans who like Enoch. Name one or show us. I will go on every channel. I can't see any. Twitter, Cheese Room Podcast, Chris Cowling never calls them out. In fact, it's not so much whether they like them. It's what they're doing about it, Jason. It's what they do about it. People that like Enoch and Levy, I actually don't have any issue with them because they're honest and humble and genuine enough to say, but I like the owners. I think they're doing a good job. I'm happy. You can't have a go at someone like that because they're allowed that view. I disagree with it, but they're allowed it. It's the others, the moaners, the complainers, the whiners, the ones. Lee McQueen, for example. How many times is he going to tweet, where's the centre backs? This is that and that. Well, do something then, Lee. Richard, do you know what? Richard Cracknell, I have got the utmost respect for that guy because he was on the Last Word on Spurs and he said, I'm not going to go to the protest because they say this and they say that and that's not what I represent. Then further down the line, do you know what? I can't defend this ownership. What they are doing, I cannot defend it anymore. It's not on. I went to Sheffield United away in the FA Cup. I drove 4 hours to Sheffield. And in the Spurs designated pub, I saw Richard Cracknell. So I went over to him and said, look, Richard, why are you saying these things about the protesters? And we had a you know, not a heart to heart, but we put a few things out there. We had a 45-minute chat. And I thought, you are one of us. You are real Tottenham. This club really means something to you. And you don't like this. I can tell. And I respected his views and opinions. He told me a couple of things which I guess I probably didn't want to hear. But listen, if you're going to have an honest conversation, you've got to both be open to hearing things that maybe you don't want to hear. And we were respectful to one another. Then, a couple of months later, he's at the protest with us. And he made an announcement on Last Word on Spurs. I'm going to the protest. I'm going to join with them because I've had enough and I want to voice my views and opinions. He stood there with us for 2 hours, spoke to all the fans that wanted to chat to him. I said hello to him, had a quick chat. And then the next time he was on Last Word on Spurs, he said, I went to the protest. It was respectful. It was civil. They're a good bunch. They want change at Tottenham. Suddenly, everything that was said 6 months before has now changed. I've got so much respect for fans like that. Not because he came to the protest, not because he said good things about us before he didn't. It's because he did something about how he felt. He felt enough is enough. He felt I'm sick of it. I'm going to take action. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, people. You think people haven't bad-mouthed me to Richard Cracknell? You think my name doesn't get slammed with these people? I must get rinsed. There's probably a dartboard of me in their offices, these people. I'm convinced. But no. I do what I do. No one tells Richard Cracknell what to do. I do what I want. And this is what I'm saying to fans. If you can't do what you want to do, then you're not living your life. You're living someone else's. And if you continue to blame others as to why you don't take action regarding Tottenham Hotspur, when you desperately want things to change, it's on you. So when I say I blame the fans, tell me where I'm wrong. Explain it to me, because I can't see it. Respect to Richard Cracknell. He's a proper Spurs fan. Believe you me, he knows the club really well, really well. Zafaguna, if you look at it objectively, it's unbelievable that Kane will leave Spurs without a single trophy. Not really, because we're used to it, Zafa. Mohammed, fans have to pitch invade and get every game counts until... Do you know something? It's getting to that stage where something's going to boil over. I've always said, let's not flip cars on the high street and petrol bomb the stadium. Let's not get to that stage, riots. What you're saying there is basically a riot. But people will snap at some point. And I don't know how that frustration is going to be taken out. At the moment, I'm getting the brunt of it, right? My name's the one that gets slammed around. But fair enough. I've got a platform where I can respond. So I get it off my chest, so to speak. But there's a lot of fans that... This thing I saw today about the Nazis and the fascism, believe you me, if that's not an alarm bell, if that's not a warning sign, I'll tell you what it is. There's a Facebook group called That Tottenham Group. It was in that group, and there's a guy called Gary that said it. Disgraceful, man. Shame on him. Gary with 2 R's, Garry. Can't remember his full name. I think it was Gary Grant. Despicable, man. Oh, someone has said that Levy's got to go. So you tell him he's behaving like a Nazi. And in fact, crazy. But that is the warning sign. That's the alarm bell that this is going to boil over. Brian Maguire. I see a lot of fans turning on each other. Brian, yeah. Checkmate 734. How you doing? Big up. Do the unthinkable. Give up on Spurs. Turn your back on the club and support a club that aligns with your values and principles. You only live once. But how do you do that? How do you go and support a local rival? Like, imagine you go and support Chelsea and you're going to start singing anti-Spurs songs. Like, the logic of what you say is true, but the reality of it happening is almost impossible unless you support a team that isn't Premier League, or you support a team that isn't from the UK. Then yeah, maybe that's viable. He owes us nothing. He can do what he wants when he wants. We have no right to expect him to stay. Jack, yeah. The contract stipulates what he does. If he wants to go and someone's prepared to pay for him and the club agrees, then yeah. If he's happy to stay and run down his contract, then yeah, that's what his contract says. JHNO071 says, so unfair on Ange. Yeah, it really is. Louis, big up. We hands down have the most clap fan base. Everyone is being brainwashed by Cowlin and last one Spurs. The club's finished still. I think last one Spurs are a bit better, to be fair. They've got one or two people on there that talk. They have a backbone and show conviction to the words that they spout. Some, they're just petrified of what Sky Sports might say to them, or what Talk Sport might say to them, or they're so worried of the perception. Oh, they said bad things about me. I better change what I say. No, speak your mind, man. Be honest. Be open. Quincy, what's the odds Newcastle win a trophy? 100%. The disabled team, I'm fully behind the Spurs protest. That's for sure, Stel. We need as many people as possible. Lee Jennings, would setting up a Phoenix club be a good idea? Is that kind of what Man United fans did with that that kind of mini version of Man United fans? Was it called Stratford something? Stratford Reds, is it? That's what you're talking about. I think if we do that, Levy and Enoch get away with it, personally speaking. As Spur, big up. Every manager at Spurs is always facing an uphill struggle. Uphill struggle. Yep. Off the field was always the plan for them when they first bought the club. Levy treats us like we're thick, and that if he says the right things, we will all believe him. But a lot of our fans do. That Tottenham group on Facebook has got 30,000 followers. It is full of Levy vaccine takers. They inject the Levy vaccine and they're, woo, go Levy. Which is fair enough. But my God, if you dare question or debate them, you're a Nazi. Like, what did you just say? Are you crazy? And then you just don't want to speak anymore, right? Congo, still, some fans will say Ange got backed. I'll tell you what, if we don't bring in defenders ASAP, I don't think any fan's going to say that. If we sign Longley and people say that, then, well, I'll just do another video. Start calling out absolutely everyone. Checkmate. But the truth is still, it's just another generation of Spurs fans who will have to accept mediocrity at Spurs. There are Tottenham fans who have been born, lived and died without seeing Spurs win anything. I know. But checkmate, it's not about winning trophies. It's about, look, I don't think Spurs deserve to win any trophies. I don't think we've got any divine right to success. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to say things like, we are going to put everything we've got, I can't remember the exact saying. They said they're going to try everything they can, put all their energy at fixing the team this summer. Daniel Levy said a quote, something like that. Where is it? Daniel Levy said, the stadium is a game changer. It will provide us with the resources to compete with the best and deliver on-field success. Is that what we're seeing? So it's not about winning trophies. It's about the things they say, honouring it. Because at the moment, they're mis-selling a product. They're mis-selling a service. They are lying to us. Daniel Levy is behaving like a con man. Fact. Don't tell me that we've got the resources because of this stadium to compete with the best. And that's going to deliver on-field success. On-field success, we came 8th, humiliated, our worst defensive record in like 15 years, no European football. You lied. You lied, Mr. Chairman. That's what Spurs fans want. If you're going to tell us something, do it. Don't lie. Don't make out with something that we're not. Stop calling us a top 6 club. We're not a top 6 clubs win trophies. Top 6 clubs behave like they want to be champions, like they want to be winners. We don't do that. We don't behave like that. It's all a fallacy. That's what I want to see. I want to see us behave like winners. I want us to behave like we want to be champions. I want us to do the things that this board and this ownership publicly states that it's going to do. Don't say this stadium's a game changer and it will allow us to compete with the best for on-field success, when on-field is shocking. And that defence of ours, that needed fixing 3 years ago, not now. And it should have been addressed the first couple of weeks of the transfer window. Not facilitate and fuel the levels of toxicity and diabolical behaviour between fans across social media. It's going to be a crap atmosphere on match day already. You know it. Fans, the protesters, the leave you out, chanting all sorts in the stadium. Is that the vibe we want for Ange? What's Ange done wrong? The guy walked into an absolute shitstorm. That's what I want to see, checkmate. I want to see us behave like a real football club. Put football at the core and show it. Show it to the fans. And we don't see it. We just don't. They're doing it again. David Clark, I will never turn on Harry Kane. But once he has left Spurs, he's no longer in my thoughts in any sense. And that's fair enough, because he's no longer a Spurs player. I support players whilst they play for my club, but once they've left, I no longer care. Well, the comments I made are with regards to Harry Kane now still being a Spurs player and the amount of fans blaming him. He needs to come out. He needs to speak. He needs to make up his mind. He doesn't need to do anything. The owners need to fix up. So, David, I fully agree with what you said, but Harry Kane is still at the club now. And I'm talking about those that are blaming him whilst he's at the club, right? Spurs, hit the like and sub, people. If you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to just tap the thumb button, the like. Got 7 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Quincy, why will Kane want to join Madrid when he can join anyone for free next year and get more money? He will join. Guaranteed trophies and break the goal record. He will join who? Madrid? I think he's getting sold. We're not going to let him go for free. I've said it too many times. Daniel, big up, Stel. Big up, Daniel. Big up. Where we finish next season. I'll tell you on the 1st of September when I know exactly what the squad looks like. I'll give you my prediction. Jack, I'll be lobbying purple and gold. I've done this one already. They have burst poor Ange. Stephen says they have burst poor Ange's happy outlook bubble. Poor man looks stressed already. I'm not surprised. We do it to every manager. And the fans will blame Ange. Eventually, they'll find a way to blame Ange. I'm Irish. I'm an Irish Spurs fan. But people should boycott the stadium. No bums on seats will only make them change. Well, I think something's going to snap. And I'm seeing it. I'm witnessing it. If we go and buy 2 really good centre-backs, it'll diffuse the whole situation. That's the only way they'll diffuse it. And they probably will do it. And it'll be some substandard duo that we bring to Tottenham. Fans will lap it up as, give it a chance. They haven't even played for us yet. And Madzi, big up. You think the Joe Lewis thing will encourage Enid to sell? They're saying that he's not linked anymore, and this trust is protecting him. The Premier League came out and said that they're happy with the structure of Tottenham and that they don't see anything wrong with Joe Lewis being charged linking to Tottenham. So probably not. Saying that, if he's fully charged, I don't know is my honest answer. I can't even pretend to say that I do know. I don't know. So I just want to do what United did and get a game called off. Listen, it'll definitely cause a stir, that's for sure. No one protests. Most of the fan base brainwashed by counting us. I think I've read these ones already. Have I already done these? Yeah, I have. My God, I'm going backwards. Sorry, people. Soccer Sphere TV. How are you? Big up, Stel. Always saying it how it is. I can't do it any other way. Soccer Sphere. I just won't be happy unless I say it as I see it. Levy has already spent the Kane money on opening an underground aquarium or whatever he's got planned. Could you imagine? Owners will sell Kane. Of course they will. Levy cannot force Kane to a move. No, he can't force Kane to move, but he can accept a bid from a club. And if Kane wants to go to that club, then Levy's not getting in the way. Getting back to long distance, try. Interesting name. Another wasted opportunity for this club. This happens too many times. It happens all the time. Jason Groves, all we are is Rumours FC. Jason, isn't it amazing how a club that wins nothing, that never really shows signs of greatness, is in the media so often, and who has got probably the most famous chairman in the Premier League? If I was to ask you, name the chairman of Aston Villa or name the chairman of Brentford, do you know who that is? But if you asked Aston Villa fans and Brentford fans, who's the chairman of Spurs, they'll all say Daniel Levy. How? Stephen says, the atmosphere is crap at the new stadium. I'd rather still be at the Lane with a team that entertains us, with a fan base that's united. We've become a laughing stock. I totally agree. I'm 100% with you. George says, Levy ine Malagas. That is Greek for saying Levy is a wanker. Anthony here says, okay, his stage name is Twan55, but he's Anthony. I hate our club now almost as much as I love it. So freaking sad. Listen, I don't enjoy supporting Tottenham anymore, Anthony. I don't. But I won't quit on trying to force change. Mohammed, I can honestly see us not signing anyone until there's a verdict on Joe Lewis, because I've heard that there's still a chance that they might expedite a sale. Well, if that's the case, we're finished, because that's going to go on for a couple of years. Jamie Gitt, no hard feeling for Kane. I blame Levy for him leaving. We've been lied to, which is why we must take it into our own hands. Billionaires hate one thing, harassment, particularly of the legal, newsworthy variety. We must bring the pain now. Okay, choice of words, harassment, no. Newsworthy action, yes. Bring the pain in terms of PR, yes. Physical, no. But I know that's what you mean. I just wanted to clarify for people that don't know you the way I know. Stel, I'm going to contradict myself. We must get violent. Okay, well, forget what I just said. No, that will push everyone away. Can't get violent, but not in the hurting people sense. Okay, right. Let me read the rest of this. Right, let me start this again. We must get violent, but not in the hurting people sense. But violent in the sense of flares, smoke bombs, whistles. Okay, yeah. Noise. Yeah, I get it. Okay. I agree. Swifty, big up. I would like to see us be a football club again. Didn't Keith Berkhamshaw famously once say there used to be a club over there, a football club over there? Levy has caused this divide and toxicity. Exactly. And that was my argument with a fan that tried to say to me, oh, all I see is you lot ranting on socials. Well, who's created that? Who's created fans to feel that way? What's created fans to want to behave like this on socials? We still haven't sold the Reece yet. Mate, that I did say bloated squad. Hasn't been sorted out. Perky, big up. What makes me sick is the scummers up the road almost win the league and back their manager. We do the same and do nothing. Arsenal are trying to do what Liverpool did. When Liverpool came so close to win the league, they went and spent big money and fixed the holes in their team, the goalkeeper and the centre-back. Arsenal, they've gone and shored up the midfield. They've brought another centre-back to support them in case Saliba gets injured again. And they've bought Kai Havertz, which I'm not convinced about. That's a bit not for me. Brian Maguire says, Levy talk is cheap and we need action, not words. Guys, 330 people watching on a Saturday evening. God bless you all. Thank you all for supporting the cause. We've got a super chat here, I can see. Della Spurs, how are you, my man? Big up. Levy is doing everything to prolong the Kane negotiations. It's just embarrassing. Levy knows Kane and Bayern are all in and is waiting for fans to turn toxic on Kane to influence him to stay. I'll tell you what, he's playing a very dangerous game, Della Spurs, because I'm convinced we're not buying any centre-backs until this Kane situation has been resolved. And I think the longer we go without buying centre-backs, then Daniel Levy is going to turn more fans against him, which for me is a good thing because Levy has to go. So if this is Levy's tactic, I can see this backfiring. I can see this absolutely imploding because we're not buying defenders until Harry Kane and his staying at Tottenham or departure to Bayern is decided. That's my personal view on it. But if he's doing this on purpose to turn fans against Kane, then he's worse than what we already thought. George asks, are there Enoch Levy out protests before the Shakhtar game? I don't know yet. I will let everyone know as soon as a decision's been made. Igor says, I've been a Spurs fan for over 4 years now, but I can see I've seen enough in this short time frame with these owners. Comparing to others who have been supporters for a long time to support the regime. Imagine, it took you 4 years to realise. And we've got others that are in denial. Kane is running down the contract. He'll be foolish to make a move now, just as any club would be foolish to pay 100 million for him for now. But Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis will be just as foolish to allow 100 million pounds to go out of the club. So worst case scenario, you sell Kane for 60 million. If you get to the last week of the window and no one's put a bid in that you are happy with, then you're going to drop your price to get a sale. I've said it many, many times, and I keep repeating. They're not going to let Kane walk out of the club for zero. He's the most expensive asset in the squad and on the balance sheet. Rich people don't just throw money away. That's why they're rich. Especially this tight-ass ownership. Graham, how you doing? Big up to you. Loyal protester. Stadium was supposed to be a game changer. What a lie. Exactly. Soccer Sphere. Stel, have you heard anything yet about Scott Munn? Do you know what? I don't even care. He's not going to change anything. He's here for commercial reasons. He's here for business reasons, not football. What do I care about Scott Munn? No, I haven't heard anything, by the way, to answer your question. Jamie Git. And it really does not need to be this way. This is what is so epically tragic. Exactly. Jamie Git, I couldn't have said it any better myself, my man. Mike Zappa. How you doing, Mike? Levy is the only fascist around here. And this is what I mean, Mike. It's getting so toxic. It's getting so Apocalypse Now. Berkhamshaw days. Wow. I know. Started back then. Martin from Knightsbridge says, Still, I live in Spain and I always used to say, all I miss is going to Spurs and pie and mash. Now all I say is pie and mash. I think I'm with you, mate. The only thing I miss, if I don't go Spurs, are the people that I know there and I get to have a catch-up with and just talk football. Still, there is a super chat. I know, Soph, sorry. There's so many comments. It's just trying to keep on top of it. I am looking for a personal assistant to do the comments for me, Sophie. So if you know anyone, hint. I shouldn't have said that because now she's going to say how much are you going to pay, right? Luca 14 says, I asked why the protest is not on the other side of the road outside the club shop. I've said the same thing. I've suggested we move it outside the West Stand. I do agree, but there's a lot of people that protest. You've got to get everyone to agree. It's not a class war, but it is how you say in control, divide the masses. Yeah, divide and conquer. It is. That's what they're doing. I'm getting to the end of my tether. I agree. Andrew says, Levy's tactic with the fans is divide and rule. Of course it is. Jason Groves, even if we don't spend big, we can still fix the issues with the squad. The issue, we are not doing anything. Let me repeat that again. Even if we don't spend big, we can still fix the issues with the squad that we've got. The issue is we're not doing anything. Spot on as well. Can't disagree with Jason there. Vibav Kumar says, you should listen to that Echo Spurs podcast. It's too good. Oh, you're laughing. Have you seen my comments on that podcast? I guess that's why you've mentioned it. What a biased podcast that is. My God. Mohammed, fans need to pitch it. We've done this one already. Bill. How you doing, Bill? I beg you to debate that J Mush who goes on time added on. We're the BMP of the Tottenham fan base, according to him, Stel. What a muppet. Bill, tell me his name in the comments, because I don't know who you're talking about. Because I don't watch that channel, so I don't know. We're the BMP. Well, you know, fascists, Nazis, BMP, you know. You're unable to deal with your pain, so you pass your pain towards others and blame them with insane, nasty comments. Nazi, fascist, BMP. Not able to take ownership of how you really feel, you divert to others, and that's what they do. It's like when you're grieving, you're in pain. You're so angry at what's happened that you lash out on someone else. They're grieving. These fans are grieving. And says, out of all the canvases, Spurs fans are scared of the truth. I think so. I agree. I can't stress this enough. Not that Cowlin helps deluding our fans. Listen, he's funded by the club in some way, shape or form, even if it's through perks, access to tickets. He's got his connections. He's scared of losing them. And he's chosen to go down a path of where he can't say what needs to be said because he's worried that he'll be cut off from the people that he depends on for his YouTube channel. He's put YouTube ahead of love for the club. You're allowed to do that. I totally disagree with it. And I totally disagree with the things that he says. And they use him as a representation of the fan base. He does not represent me. I'll tell you that for sure. As a Spurs fan. Levy's going to have to take the 65 mil. He's going to have to take... Right now, I reckon he can get 85 million. But if he drags this out, he's going to make a mess of this as well. And imagine if we sell Kane for 65 million, the fan base will go crazy over that. Is that all we got? Why didn't you take the 85 million? More toxicity. With Kane, will Kane's goals be more beneficial this season to win a trophy or get top 5 than the 60 million we can get for him? I don't think we're winning a trophy because the defence isn't good enough. Top 5, I don't believe you get much money for Europa Cup. So I would say the 60 million. Chris Horay, fans have got to realise that we have the power to change the ownership. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. We have the power to change the ownership and get back our club. This has to be done before it's too late. I think we're already on that tightrope of it being too late. My opinion only. Actions speak louder than words. If I could give an award to comments, I'd give this an award. And Kukuris, out of all the fan bases, Spurs have the worst. Terrified of the truth. I think I already read this one. I've heard that Bayern are going to bid 90 million. That's euros. So in pounds, that's 80 million. James McGrath. We sell to buy per position. So if Kane goes, we replace the striker area. And the same for when Sanchez finally goes. We sign Tap or Ven. We have to sell to buy players. And that defeats the point of having a game-changing stadium that provides us with the resources to compete with the best and deliver success on the field of play. Daniel Levy's lying words. He's a con man. But you're not allowed to say that. Yes, I am. Because that's what he's done. The evidence is out there. I've got the statement of when he said it. And that's not what I got when I paid to see that be delivered for me as a Spurs fan. Tony Rodriguez, how you doing? Big up. 85% of our fan base consists of happy clappers. They don't care about the sporting results, just like Enoch and Levy. They are happy with a night out. I'll tell you what's alarming. How many fans actually are happy with just the day out? And Stadium has created them and attracted that breed of modern fan, or is it just Tottenham fan? Modern Tottenham fan. There are a lot like that. And you know, I've been to many a game when I'm outside the stadium and I'm trying to get people to come over and protest, or just go over across the road, beg your pardon. And I say to them, you know, why are you watching the protesters but you don't come and protest? And they say, well, you know, they built the stadium and it costs a lot of money, and will protesting change? You know, I don't know. They're kind of in the middle where they want to cross the road, but they haven't yet. And they're just observing. They're keeping an eye on it. There's a lot of fans like that. And there's also loads of happy clappers. Absolutely. Like I said on the protest, when JP interviewed me, I said, I don't recognize his club anymore. Yeah, I remember you saying that. Spurs for life. Sava categorically disapproves of protests in any form. He is an important voice in Spurs community, and his words demotivate people to come out for protests. He was on a show, Brian Daigle, yesterday, and he didn't say that. He said he will promote the protest when Brian announces it. So I don't know. Look, again, Sava has no control over nobody. Just like I have got no control over you not coming to a protest. Okay. The only person who has control of their own actions is that person. No one tells you to move your arm up in the air like that. No one tells you to clap. I have control. You control your actions. Not Sava, not Stelios, nobody. Sava can belittle protests if that's what he does. I don't know. He can say, I'm against it. That's his opinion. But if you then decide what you're going to do based on what he says, you have no control. If I say you must come to the protest, you've got to be at the protest, and you choose not to. Sorry, and you come, beg your pardon. If I say come to the protest, you've got to be there, and then you come to the protest, I haven't made you come. I've just made you aware of it. You've chosen to come. We all have control of our actions, which is why blaming other people for things that you choose not to do, I've said it already. You're an idiot then. You are an idiot if that's how you live your life. And people will say, Stelios calls fans idiots. No, I call people that moan, complain, don't take action, and then blame others why they don't take action. I'm calling those people idiots. Absolutely, yes. And tell those idiots to come and debate me. We'll have a nice, adult, civil conversation. We'll discuss it. I've got more respect for people that actually want to debate and have a show so the public can, you know, observe and maybe decide if that's something that they buy into or not, than to just sit there and just firing out these crazy messages that I'm seeing the past couple of days. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I've been going for an hour and 18, and this is 30 minutes with Stel. I mean, I've taken up the next 3 days of 30 minutes. Appreciate you tuning in as always. Thank you for listening to the show, guys. There's just one I've got to grab. Scott M. I fully understand. I want to be positive. Right. He's saying, I want to be positive. I wish we had things to be positive about. I was a deluded happy clapper when Poch was here and we had a top 10 team. Sorry, and we had a top team. And I think that kind of sums it up, right? We do want to be positive and we do want to be energetic about Tottenham. But there is nothing to be positive or energetic about when the club says one thing, they do the opposite. When we see the best players wanting to leave the club again and we're charged the highest prices in football for it. Nothing adds up. Nothing adds up with this club. Last one. Ben Edwards. Right, second from last one. Tottenham have stopped being a football team to Enoch. It's a cash cow that gets milked on a regular basis. And we're the cows, and we're getting milked. Sophie, protesters are like protesting and striking as part of a union. The actions of those taking part benefits conditions for everyone. Do you know what? Beautiful. It's a union. We act on behalf of the masses, right? 3 hours with Stel. Go on. Nah, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. People, thank you for tuning in. God bless you all. We are back on Monday, our Monday night podcast, the best show to be in town if you're a Spurs fan. And then we'll have some weekly shows during the week. Will Stewart, I'll have another show. Iggy, Monday to Friday. Good morning, Tottenham away. JP will pop up with a couple of good evening, Tottenham away. And Mari will have his Wednesday show, Mari's Lounge. North London is our show. And then the following weekend, it's Shakhtar versus Spurs at White Hart Lane. We'll be going live for that as well. Big up to all of you. I've got nothing but love for everyone, even those that turn against me, because at the end of the day, what's the difference between you and me? I haven't quit. You've quit. You've quit on trying to change things. I haven't quit. I'm not a quitter, and I will never be a quitter. That's the only difference between us. I don't think you're nasty. I don't think you're jealous. I don't think you're horrible. I just think you've quit on what you love, which is Tottenham and standing up for the values that this club should represent. Don't be a quitter, people. Stand up and fight against the regime. All right. God bless each and every one of you. It's been emotional, people. See you later.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.